about how to buy them without competition. I'm going to show you some avenues to do that with. If you're a realtor, you're going to get some great behind-the-scenes strategy, I think. If you don't care, that's fine too. Laura's going to come in hot here in a second, and then we are going to go live and do our thing. You know what I mean? So glad that you're with me. Glad you're joining me. It should be a good show today.
Actually pepper.
Hey, well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Sun Prairie Real Estate Show. I'm Bill Baker, your host, and glad to have you on with me today. It's hump day. It's the spring days are starting to happen, and I'm excited about that. Good morning, Mary Lawstead. Glad to see you're on there, and Janice. You're listening to 103.5 WLSP, The Sun, right here in beautiful Sun Prairie at the Sun Prairie Media Studios, right to the side of the Sun Prairie Library, and looking forward to our expansion in a few years and have a nice little clear window, and it's going to be great. I love it. I can see outside right now, but it's going to be fantastic. Hey, we're underwritten by those wonderful folks at the Bank of Sun Prairie, the Baker Realty Group, and of course, Win Trust Mortgage. And real estate, man, it's something else out there right now, isn't it? If you're buying a house, I know you're frustrated. And I hate that word, frustrated. It's a word that is normally not in my vocabulary, but I know what you feel, and here's what you need to know is that real estate agents are feeling that same frustration that you're having because I think as Roger Stoddard and I were talking on Monday, this is probably the toughest market that we've ever seen. Now, some of you out there are probably going, what do you mean? You probably got wheelbarrows full of money, just, all the houses. No, it's not how many houses that we are selling, it's how many offers we're writing. And we're going to talk about that today. We're waiting for Laura to come in here hot, and we'll get into that. What was I going to tell you? There are some very strategic and competitive ways that you can buy a house, and I can show you how to do this. I can try and walk you through this on the radio. If you want more information, you're going to need to get a hold of me. I'm going to tell you this, that this is an incredible market. It's one that is very complicated, and for a realtor, and I know that it seems complicated for you, very stressful for you, and I appreciate that. But we're gonna try and take care of some of these myths. Now, also, because of a comment that was made on Facebook, I'm going to talk about this a little bit about the armchair quarterbacks, I guess to say. We're going to discuss that and how they kind of think of the market, or how they perceive the market. And I'm going to tell you right now that it's kind of like trying to rebuild your own transmission if you don't know how to do it. I mean, yeah, I can watch Facebook and I can probably, or go to YouTube and I can figure out how, and go through the steps, but I'll probably leave out that little ring at the top of the piston guides, you know, that are in there. But so many times, and Laura's coming in hot. She had to stop and talk first and visit. Now she's walking in. She's chassaying. No, not chassaying.
Are you speaking ballet terms?
Yes, I am. Coming over to sit down to her chair.
What's he doing?
I know. So here's the thing about what's going on in that market that right now is that people are spewing information on the internet and talking about why you shouldn't buy a house. And I'm going to tell you that reasons why you should be buying a house if you're going to do it. Laura's going to help with that. But I want to say this while she gets set up in that. There, just like in any organization, business that's out there, there are good and there are bad and there are mediocre. I choose to lean towards the good. I like the good. Laura's looking at me going, oh my God, where are we going with this?
Yeah, what do you mean by this?
Well, what's going on is that you get a lot of people that become armchair realtors or armchair lenders, and they think they know their answers when they should just shut the hell up.
Ooh,
because they're hurting people. Well, they're hurting people.
Some are.
They are. And so one of the internet or the Facebook spews, as I'll call them, came out with one of the comments was, my mortgage lender called me today. My pre-approval and estimated payment amount was based on a 3.875 rate, and today it's 5%. So he called me to remind me that the same loan that I had would now be $200 per month. Inventory is still low, so any predictions on what will happen now? I say just priced more people out of the market. That last phrase is not accurate.
Why is it not accurate, though?
Because it shifts, it doesn't take you out of the market, it shifts your buying power.
For some, it could take you out, though. Like if you were on the line.
Well.
Just saying.
Just saying. Well, I know, but
yeah.
It just shifts you. That comment shouldn't even be made.
Well.
No, it could take them out of the market because they don't want to buy a different kind of house. I mean, maybe
it
not.
It changes price range.
It could be instead of two bathrooms, it could have one bathroom in it.
Yeah.
But if you, it's still this is the wealth building mechanism in our society that you need to take advantage of.
I know.
Am I wrong?
Well, I guess what I've been thinking a lot about is the people who, in the last couple of years, because it's been a seller's market for a while now.
Oh yeah.
So a lot of people.
3 years.
Yeah, and it's hard for buyers. No lie, it's not easy. It's not impossible either. But so a lot of people have taken themselves out of the market because it was too much. They got exhausted writing offers and never getting them accepted. But they're regretting it right now because rates are so much higher, property values are higher. Like, just my advice has always been, don't take yourself out of the market. Stay in it.
Right.
And when the right one comes along, you can jump on it. You might be in a lease, but I'll tell you what, landlords have been pretty forgiving about letting people out of leases. Not all, but many are. And for one reason, because they could maybe raise rent.
Well, we have a mutual contact, Eleanor. We'll say Eleanor. Actually Lisa. Their lease is coming up at the end of the month.
Yep.
Their rent is going up $70 plus. They're going to increase the pet fee an additional $10 a month, which would take
$70 a year or a month. I don't remember.
$70 a month.
Okay, well that adds up.
Yeah, and the pet fee was $40 a month. Now it's going to $50 a month. She said.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, and so wouldn't you rather be paying yourself?
Yeah.
Than paying the landlord and all that?
Well, you'd think so, but
it's not
for everybody.
I know. But yeah. It's just, it's killing me on this stuff. I mean, one of the comments in this internet stream, this Facebook stream really just kills me. And it says, remember, realtors are salespeople that work on commission based on selling. So of course they want you to buy now. Their commission is being based on these high sales prices too. You know, and Carly?
Carly is
Yeah.
the person who said
Yeah,
that?
yeah. Go to the wall, stand there, face
Be
it, put
nice, be
both
nice.
hands on the wall, and look at it, and that's who your friend is. Because you're talking out your behind.
No, be nice.
No,
I mean, she's got a point. Again, not all professionals do things in the same way.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
There's
but,
always some bad actors.
Oh, there are, but don't throw us all into that.
No, don't generalize.
Exactly.
Just like the advice
Exactly.
should be what we always
Yeah.
say,
Right.
which is to ask a lot of questions. Ask what how your agent operates, how they represent
Uh-huh.
you, how they support you,
Mhm.
how they find you a house,
Uh-huh.
and how they educate you on values.
Right.
Do they know their numbers? Do they know the statistics? That's what you need to focus on.
Yeah.
And I think you get a lot from just meeting with people and asking questions and getting their feedback. I think you'll be able to figure out who's genuine and who's not. You don't think so?
I'm struggling.
Maybe
with
I'm
that.
blessed with intuition. I don't
You
know.
are.
I'm not always right.
You are
though.
blessed.
I'm
You're
not
with me
always
every
right.
day. You know, come on.
Well, give you the benefit of the doubt all the time.
It is just to the point where I had this one thrown in the stream. Well, I've been my realtor for 20. He's been in the real estate business for 20 years. He knows what he's doing. I'm like, stop. First of all, the ones that are struggling the hardest in this market are the ones that have been in it 20 years. We've never experienced this market.
Nobody has.
No.
Yeah.
No. But the newbies that are coming in, this is like everyday operations, just like when I started in 2006. I fell into short sales and foreclosures and ran with it, and we were successful with it.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't know any different. I thought this was the market.
Yeah.
So even if you know somebody 20 years, I've been in 17 years. I'm starting 17 years. Interview people. Talk to them. Just like Laura said, find out what's going on. Talked to some people this past weekend at the Barstool Open. Michelle and Ken Coubertans. Their daughter is looking to buy a house, and they're freaking out. They're like, well, first of all, are we going to be able to find a house? I said, yes. And I have to be careful because they're working with an agent, but they feel they're not getting the guidance that they should have. And I was sharing with them that there is a way to buy a house without competition, and I can show you how to do that. And they're like, well, what do you mean? How do you do it? And we're going to get to that in a few
I was
minutes.
going to say, I hope you're going to
Oh
elaborate.
yeah, we're going to talk. We're going to talk. I said
There's strategies. There are.
there is, right?
Yeah, and I mean, and they're not unethical at all. I was just talking with a listing agent yesterday, first-time home buyer going in, and mom was willing to help and pay cash if she needed to, but she wanted her daughter to do it on her own. So mom and daughter ended up on the offer to purchase together as a just-in-case kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So now the whole idea all the way along was just to do it in the daughter's name, and she's fine. But to get the offer accepted, mom had to provide proof of funds and say, I'll pay cash if necessary, but my daughter would like to get a loan. So, like, disclose these things, right? So
Right.
that it isn't smoke and mirrors, and the seller's going to wonder why an appraiser's showing up.
Sure.
You have to be honest and forthright about it, but as long as the seller knows it's closing either way, I don't
Exactly.
care. I've got cash. If the loan doesn't go through, I don't care. I just know it's closing.
Yeah.
So it's not unethical.
No.
But the listing agent on the other side was like, I'm not sure I like how this has been done. And I'm like, well, what's wrong with
What's
how
wrong
it's
with
been
it?
done?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just
Well,
preconceived ideas, I guess. I
It
don't
is.
know.
And ego, I think.
Maybe.
I think ego gets in the way of a lot of things. I mean, we have one. I have one that's closing on Friday, cash deal.
Yeah.
Now, but they're getting a loan, but it's a cash deal.
Yeah.
So
There's
the
a lot
appraiser
of
came
that
through,
going
and
on.
so my seller was like, they're getting an appraisal. I'm like, that's okay, we're fine. They're paying cash. Well, why would they have it appraised? Well, They can have it appraised. It means nothing to you. The contract says that there is no appraisal contingency.
Yeah.
Financing is not a part of this contract. You're fine to do it. I said, I will get more information. Called the agent. They said, oh yeah, they are getting a loan, but they're going through the steps, but they've got it set up where they can pay cash.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, cool.
That's all that matters
Yeah.
to the seller.
Yeah,
But
talking.
it's your job as the agent to
Right.
make sure the seller understands what's in these offers.
Exactly.
They don't know.
No.
You know.
Oh, it's like stereo instructions.
Yeah.
I always give you summaries on it. But here, I want to read one of the. I have to read this.
Nice.
So one of the comments was this. Well, she goes, that's why they're talking about the problems and about working with an agent or not working with an agent, and what comes up is that's why I will work with a realtor, and she's telling me to buy now because she's not telling me to buy now because I was very clear about my timeline. Instead, she was telling me that more properties will be coming on the market once school is out, and that's how it works every year. Well, I'm going to throw this out there. Maybe. So I'm going to tell you this. We've known since December, and if you've listened to this show, you've heard Laura and I talk about the increase in the mortgage rates. We knew it back then because in January they announced it that they were going to have probably 0.25% increases and all this. In fact, if you went back and listened to some shows, you will hear that I predicted that the interest rates would be at 5.2% by June. Right? Remember that?
I don't remember 5.2. We were talking about, what, 4?
Yeah.
3.875 by December of 2022. Maybe 4. I think you said 4. I was
5.2.
lower.
5.2.
This is crazy. I don't remember 5.2.
But so here's the thing is, folks, that if you got your mortgage, if you listened to your realtor, you found the house in January, you're 2% ahead of everybody else today. It's because you listen to the realtor. Now, the realtor is not going to make you buy anything or sell anything. But what they're going to do is guide you and tell you the current market trends. It's like a good stockbroker that calls you and says, hey, your Tesla stock just topped out and you need to sell it today. We need to dump this thing.
Trust your professionals.
Trust the professionals on this. Trust the professionals. Are more homes coming on the market in May? Maybe. This whole pandemic has kind of twisted the trends and on how the market happens. A couple years ago, we had the spring market in fall.
Yeah.
You know, so
all the spring market, fall market stuff has been out the window for the last couple of years. It doesn't
Exactly.
really matter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to get in on this conversation, would love to have you. You can go on Facebook. You can go either to the Media Center. You can go to my Facebook page. You can go to Laura's Facebook page. You can ask any question that you want, and we'll be glad to answer that for you. Or you can call the studio by calling 608-825-0930 and ask your question there. Well, like I said, there are no stupid questions, folks, in real estate. Trust me.
I have a question.
Okay.
So, something that I have a problem with, and I mean, I get it. So somebody coming in and offering with contingencies, home sale contingency, let's just say that.
Okay.
All right, so I get that the seller is looking for the easiest possible transaction. I don't want to worry about inspection stuff, appraisal stuff, whatever, but if it's just a home sale contingency because the buyer can't afford 2 house payments at once, needs the equity for the down payment, and there's no other option. There are other options, but this is hypothetical, right? So in the market that we're in, knowing that we need listings, we need them. And if your house hits the market, it's going to sell. As long as it's priced right, shows well, it's going to sell. So why is this such an issue for sellers? Because there's a lot of buyers out there that are like, I know my place is going to sell, but I can't get an offer accepted because nobody wants my home sale contingency. What are you advising your sellers
Do I have
about
a competing offer?
Well, I'm sure in this market you would.
Okay, then,
Yeah.
I mean, the odds are that if we've taught everybody, be ready. Be ready. Even if, just figure out a way to get the financing. The cash deals are king right now.
I think it's sad and unfortunate though, and I feel like a lot of it comes in the communication between the listing agent
Right.
and the seller.
Sure.
They don't know, so they're relying on you for your expertise. So an offer comes in, home sale contingency, maybe a government loan program. I mean, those are all like, oh, forget it. Unless it's cash or conventional, you're going to have a hard time getting an offer accepted. That bothers me. What about veterans out there who can't get accepted offers?
Bothers me too.
Right.
But we're in that market. I mean, so if we let's break this down a little bit, because you put a lot of ifs in there. You know.
A loaded question.
Yeah, it was a loaded question. Yes.
Well, good. It was intentional.
All right, so let's start with this. Why is a sale contingency a risk? Well, if I'm the seller, I don't know your house. I don't know what you have. I don't.
It's the market.
But right now I have a bird in the hand. I have one offer that has to sell their house, and I have another one that's a cash deal. One that's going to close in 30 or 45 days. The other one close in 14 days.
What if they don't want to close any sooner than 30 to 60 days because they have to find their next home?
Okay, identical things. It's the what ifs on the contingency. What if their appraisal doesn't go through? What if they have inspection issues? I don't know their offer. The seller, and if I'm representing the seller, we don't know the structure of the offer on the other house. Those are the what ifs. So that could set them back 30 days. As you know, and we could tighten up a counter offer and set it up where it's really tight, that the appraisal has to be in 2 weeks, or we also need to have the home inspection contingency, how it's worded, who's paying for repairs.
Yeah.
But we need to find out more about the other house that's being sold.
Yeah, but do you even go that far? Where you're like, I don't really care. I've got 20 offers, I've got 3 cash, and I've got 6 conventional loans. I just don't care.
Yeah.
I'm not listening to you.
Well, the real estate agent never makes the decision. It's the seller that makes that decision. And our job is to lay out every offer. And if you have 20 offers, I mean, it's one hell of a spreadsheet.
And everybody's doing spreadsheets, right?
Right.
Because I get that question a lot. How do realtors help sellers with all these offers that are coming in?
Right.
I think you all use spreadsheets, and you this is conventional, this is cash, this is right?
So I use summary sheets and spreadsheets. So I will take a summary sheet of price, closing, contingencies, all what's in there, and then I'll lay them together, and we go through boom, 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 and then they also have a spreadsheet too. It comes about what their net number is going to be also.
Oh, you do that.
Mm-hmm.
That used to be something that was done years and years ago, and then I remember asking, have you had that conversation with it just doesn't seem like a lot of realtors are doing that.
Right.
That's a key piece. I think you need to know what your costs are going to be to sell, what commission percentages are coming out of your net proceeds, and that obviously is a key piece of where you're going next. You need to know what you're going to net.
People are going to look at what the strongest offer is. They want that, and they want it over with. They want this done. No more showings, no more anything. I don't want to keep my house staged. I want to go back and live in it again.
Which is why you look at expireds and delays, and maybe get in there ahead of time.
And we're going to get into that.
Right.
Shortly.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of it goes back to how it's communicated by the listing agent, and a lot of sellers just don't know. So they are relying on you as a professional to be as impartial as you can.
Right.
Just the facts, ma'am, right?
Yeah.
What was that? Dragnet years ago? I don't know.
Just the facts, ma'am.
Right. Just the facts, because they don't know. So the seller makes a decision, yes, but they make it based on what you tell them.
I've seen offers accepted with a lower price on a cash offer than on one with a sale contingency.
Because it's easier.
It's convenient and it's over. That's why iBuyers have been succeeding in other states.
I thought in general iBuyers were really not working.
Well, they're not profitable, but they're selling. People are coming in and selling their house for less to to get that check like within 5 days or whatever, and moving on.
Yeah, people do that. Yeah.
I don't agree with it, but that's, it's not. I would not do that. But now let's go over to. I want to move all the way over to your financing contingency. You and I both know that contingency can fall apart in that 30 days. The appraisals can fall apart. We don't know where appraisals are going. I mean, honest to goodness, don't you hold your breath on every deal?
I don't.
When they're 100,000 over asking?
I really haven't had many of those crazy situations. Like, I heard of one recently that was 70,000 over, and the appraisal came in at list price.
We had one at 84, 87,000 last month.
Okay.
Yeah, you missed. That was the show you missed, and we're glad to have you back. I missed you so bad.
Well, I enjoyed
my heart
being in
was
Arizona,
hurting.
I gotta tell you.
I know you didn't want to come back. I know.
I didn't.
So the appraisal right now I'll be honest, I hold my breath. I do.
I haven't seen a lot of issues.
Yeah.
One came in low recently, but they all expected it.
So what you're looking at, Laura, is the sheet of 13 close. We're basically closing one per day right now.
Oh, hey, the one on my street.
Yeah, on Roberts?
Yeah.
Look what it sold for.
Oh my God.
34,000 over asking.
OMG.
This is 398 Robert Drive. Laura lives on Robert Drive. It listed at 284, sold at 318, 12% above asking, 26 over assessed value.
And I don't think a whole lot of improvements have been made to that one.
Well, yeah, there has.
Interesting.
So the question as you and I have talked about every week is that was it priced correctly?
Yep.
And then the other thing was, did it appraise? Did it appraise?
So this one did close. All these have closed?
Oh, these are all closed.
So you wouldn't have the data available.
Correct. So what I did is I set up the trends and everything for what's going on. 6 of 13 sold had competing offers, 46%, 6% less than at the end of last month. And 2%. No, it's 6%. It's not 2%. 3 new construction. One of the new constructions went for 26,000 over asking. That could be deceptive because they could have, in the process, put add-ons in there. They could have finished the basement or done something like that to add on it. What was interesting about that one, they went 26,000 over, is that it was started in 2019, but it's never been titled, so it's a brand new one. 4 solds were represented. Get this. Listen to me. Write this down, and because we're going somewhere with this one. 4 souls represented by limited service. A limited service is a company that will do sell your house for like $3,000 or $6,000 or just for a small chunk of change. 4 souls represented by a limited service or single party listings had no competing offers.
What?
And I think they left money on the table. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, if you have a limited service contract, they're not helping you. But what's interesting about it...
Oh, is that how?
Yeah, 46% of these had competing offers on it. Tell me why not every single property... Why doesn't every single property have a competing offer on it? Because they took the first offer.
Delayed?
Could be a delay, could be sight unseen.
Yeah.
But I think
because they wanted to be done with it.
Right. These are all
like a good offer.
Correct. And I can't tell you if offers were written prior to marketing. And we'll get to that in just a second because I'm going to save a lot of time for that. But I would tell you that they took the very first offer. How do I know this? Let me tell you. Asking price $255, sold price $255. This one went a little higher, $264,400, $360 on Heatherstone. It's a great property. You know why that went higher? Because the agent assumed they had to go over the asking price. They went $15,000 over. How they did that? The average for last month was $22,000.
But there wasn't a competing offer,
Uh-uh.
so they just came in. Oh, so see, again, the advice that you're giving to your buyers and to your sellers.
Mhm.
But how do you as an agent know how to, when we're in the market that we're in right now,
Yeah.
how do you advise your buyers? Do you ask the question, do you have competing offers?
I always ask the price. Is there currently an offer in hand?
So do you think this agent didn't ask that question?
Correct.
Uh-oh.
So another one on Covington Trail, 260 Covington Trail. Beautiful property, absolutely fabulous house. Limited service, listed, get this, oh my gosh. Listed for $539,900, sold for $526,000. It was sold for $13,000 less. If an agent was representing that house, and this is an amazing house over in Fox Point, it would have sold for probably $550.
And I'm sorry, they sold it themselves or it was limited service?
That's a limited service again.
There's a lot of those.
Hallmark Way, $526, sold for $526.
Oh, well, look at that.
Well, these are all limited service. I mean, it just freaking kills
Can we say
me.
who it is?
MHB? I
That's
can't
what
say that.
That's who I thought it was,
Yeah.
but I wasn't going
I
to
know.
say because I didn't know if we should, but of course
right.
we would.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then the one on Sunfeld, which sold for $255, was what's called a single party listing. So somebody came in, they knew it was going to sell, and so they said, "Hey, I have a buyer," and they said, "Okay." They said, "How much do you want for it?" And they said, $255, and they said, "Okay, we'll give you $255." I'm just assuming, and it makes an ass out of me, you and me.
How
But
do you know these things?
well, because it's perfect. The number is too small. It should be $325.
Which sold for
I have us up.
$325 it should have sold for. So this is the detail and the information that you need as a buyer and seller. I just gave you several examples of why you need to list with an experienced agent that knows the market and can break it down by neighborhood almost. Oh my gosh. And then the other part of it is if you're a buyer, I've identified a mechanism for you to get a good deal on a house. If I were a buyer agent out in the neighborhoods, if on the MLS, if I were you as a buyer, I would tell you to go to your realtor, which is the place to be, and tell them to pull all the limited service listings. And then we're going to move into another category to make this even a stronger chance of you writing an offer, having no competing offer, and getting a great deal on it. And that's called delayeds. Delayed or withheld is the market. Now, what are those? Those are houses that are getting ready to come onto the market. They're getting photos or staging or something like that done. All right? And I have to tell you this, right now, if you went online, if you went on to Realtor.com or Zillow or Redfin and all those, it would show like 43 houses for sale, something like that, 48 houses. It doesn't matter. If you go to your agent, you go to your realtor, and you ask them how many active listings are in Sun Prairie, they'll tell you 11.
11.
11 that are actually there to sell. None of these ghost listings, none of these coming soon, we can build it the way you want in 6 months.
So do you want to explain what a ghost listing is? Is
Yeah.
that what that is?
Yeah. Ghost listing, folks, is usually for new construction. They put up a picture and they say, you can have this in 6 months, or coming soon, or something like that. They're giving you an idea and getting you interested to capture you as a lead. So if I get 10 people that click on that and want information about that property, I now have 10 new buyers that want to build that exact property. That's a ghost listing. Okay? All right. So there's a ghost listing. You heard that. You have active listings that you can actually buy today. Average median price is $439 on actives. Then there's the thing called delayed and withheld. All right, like I said, these are properties that are getting ready to get ready. And oh my gosh, I mean, these are great. And I have used these. I have had so much success. I'm giving the secret sauce away right now, the secret ingredients to buying a house before you get into that quagmire of all the competition and having to fight with everybody on it. It's called with delays. The listing agent cannot market this property. You're not going to find us on Zillow or Realtor or any of the websites. Not even on Start, First Web, or EXP. They're not there. They're hidden. They're hidden until they're ready to go to the market and into what's called active. And that's when the feeding frenzy starts. But if you go to your agent and say, pull up all the delays for Columbus, Sun Prairie, Windsor, whatever. Tell them where you want to be. I have 11 properties that are delayed in Sun Prairie.
So there's 11 single families on the market right now?
Oh, yeah.
And 11 delayed?
Oh, yeah. Duh.
Right?
Wait. Median price for the delays is $324.
Oh my gosh.
The median price for median price for actives is $439. Excuse me.
Your agent needs to be helping you with what's going on with delays if you're out there looking, if you don't want to overpay.
And let me finish this, and I'm going to come back to agents.
Be nice.
Well, I can't because I'm watching people get hurt.
Okay, but
there's one property on the actives that's under 350. One property under 350 on actives currently. First time home buyer, listen to me. You ready? Here it comes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 properties that are on delayed that are under 350. So what do? You ask your agent for this list, and you look at the pictures. They may say there are no pictures. Go back into the history. Tell your agent, go back into the history and see if it's been listed before so you can get a layout of the house and what it looks like. Some people have actually gone to the address and knocked on the door and said, hey,
stalked them.
And I understand your house is coming on the market. I'd like to see it. That's the script I would give you if you were my client.
But as an agent, you want to be sure that you've got a buyer agency in place.
Yeah, you're going down a rabbit hole.
Okay, well, we need to talk about that at some point.
Okay, we'll do that.
People get left.
All right, we're going. So now we're here, and the property's here. You like the layout of the property. You like what you see, the front yard, the backyard. You like the neighborhood, whatever it is. Now you have your realtor write a offer that's called sight unseen. That means you've not seen inside it. And you're going to, now, I know a bunch of you are rolling your eyes out there because you're saying, but I'm not going to buy a house I haven't seen. It doesn't mean you haven't seen the house. You're getting ready to see the house. The only thing that can put a showing in the house is a contract. One would be the listing contract that makes it active. Then anybody can come see it. Or you write a sight unseen offer, and then in the contingencies, your realtor will write, and their broker will tell them, if not, I don't know what's going to, tell them that you have contingent upon visual inspection and approval within 24 hours of accepted offer.
Yep.
You can make that number anytime. You can make it 10 hours if you want. So you can have a chance to walk into the property and first of all, you get an accepted offer immediately, and you walk in and go, oh, I like it, I'll take it. Or you can walk into the property and go, nope, I'm done. I don't like it. I'm out of here. Mm-hmm. And you get out of the contract.
You just have to be protected.
Right. So that's your opportunity. So if somebody's listing a house for $279,900, you can go, I'll give you $279,900. Better come strong. Or you could say, hey, how about if I give you $285,000 on this house, and you're done, and you don't have to have any showings or anything like that. A good realtor will walk this through with the other agent. And oh my gosh, if it's a for sale by owner, winner chicken dinner, they'll take it every time because they're done. They're over.
For sale by owner, but do they have it priced right?
No.
And do you know how you're going in?
Well, your realtor is the one that's going to just ask them for the asking price.
And will the seller pay your realtor's commission?
In most cases, they will. Most cases.
Another rabbit hole, I know.
Right.
That stuff you need
well,
to think about.
if not, then consider you paying the commission for your buyer
Everybody
agent.
can do that.
What?
Stuff you need to know.
No, but it's money that they would have paid in the way of cost already if they went into a competitive situation. So here's a question that you're going to ask me. And Laura is waiting to ask this question. I know.
How do you know?
Why would a seller do this? Why would a seller accept this contract? Well, here's why. They don't lose anything. If they get the number they want, they win. The process stops. There's nobody walking through the house. And when I say walking through the house, I'm talking about, I told you, like Woodstock that I sold. We had 14 showings scheduled within the first day of that listing. 14 showings. So 14 times, let's say 3 people, right? That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people coming through that house.
14?
Yeah, if you do 14 times 3, how many?
That doesn't even sound like a lot compared to what's going on.
No, but if you do 3, so it's 42 people that have just walked through your house that are strangers. The deal is done.
Yeah.
If they come through and so if you get the number you want, they come and they walk in the house, and I love this strategy, Laura. They walk in the house and they go, oh my God, your cat smells terrible, and I can't live in this house. First of all, you just learned something as a seller and a listing agent that you need to be aware of, because the next 10 people to come through are going to have the same comment. Or they could come through and say, oh, I can't see myself living here, or whatever. You're getting valuable information. So you're no worse off if they say no, because you're still going to market in 10 days, 5 days, or whatever it is. And you win. You win. Fall River. Sight unseen. Offer. Wrote the offer. Went 10,000 over the asking that we wanted. She was happy. Done. Cash deal. And this was and it closed last week. And it was supposed to hit the market April 30th.
And how long did it take to close with cash? 3 weeks?
14 days.
Yeah, there you go.
14 days.
That's why cash is okay. If the time frames line up for buyer and seller, that's why.
Get this. Get this. Get this. Get this. I have to tell you about this. It'll drive you crazy. So the sellers couldn't get all their stuff out, and so they left some of it in the garage.
Yeah.
And then left a check for $1,000 for the buyer to get a dumpster or to deal with it.
Wow, I kind of like that, actually.
Right.
I mean, as long as the buyers were okay with that.
I know. So those are called sight unseen. Why is it an advantage for you? There's no competition if they accept your offer. Okay? If for a seller, okay, you're getting an offer, and they haven't seen your house. If you like the number, if you like the offer, what's written, say yes and let them come visit you the very next day. And if they like the house, you're done. Now there are those people, the skeptics, the grassy knoll folks, that say, well, why don't you just put it into the let it go to market and let all that competition happen. Maybe you'll get a higher price. Well, maybe not. What's it worth to you to make it, the transaction and everything, come to a conclusion that you want? It's called peace of mind.
Yeah.
Peace of mind.
That's huge.
It is.
Especially right now. People are just nervous about money and finances, and
they are.
You need peace of mind.
Right. Hey, I want to switch gears for a second because I want to go to this part right here. And on this email stream, our Facebook stream, social media stream, they were talking about the failure rate of real estate agents. And I want to touch on this just a little bit because they threw the number of 70% out there in this thing. I love how people just spew statistics without any fact checking or anything like that. And this person has no clue. But here's what you need to know about real estate agents. National Association of Realtors, back in 2014, this is back in 2014, this is as soon as I can make. The National Association of Realtors reported that 87% of all new agents fail after 5 years in the industry, with only 13% making it. I can guarantee you that number's higher.
Especially now, because it's
Correct.
so hard.
Correct.
Yeah.
Now, why is it so hard? There's nothing to sell. In a buyer's market, so what happens when you're a realtor? You come in, and most of the time they put you into a buyer agent role so you can learn. You can write contracts. I think it's a mistake.
Yeah.
I was very fortunate to be schooled by Gary Keller, Chris Heller, Darren Kittleson in the way of doing the sales side of it and the listing side. In my first year of business, I never worked with one buyer.
Yeah.
And we still sold 52 homes.
Yeah.
Did you get that? I never worked with one buyer. Now, I referred a bunch of them out to buyers, or if a buyer hit on our listing, I helped them. But so most of the time they put you into that buyer agency role. And right now, being a buyer agent is not easy.
I think it's knowing the market. And right now, being a listing agent is the route to go if you want to make it in this business.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, so if you look at this, if you go crazy on this thing, right now, our trending right now with our prices are up 20% over last year, April, of the first 13 days. The thing about knowing your numbers, somebody needs to show you how to do your numbers. If you're not a geek, you're going to struggle with this. And we showed this a bunch of shows when Taryn Peterson and I were going back and forth on it. I'm saying there's 10 or a number of homes, and she's like, oh no, it's a lot more than that. The difference was I identified city of Sun Prairie, and she put zip code in. Mm-hmm. Both of them were correct, but mine was more precise than the zip code. Now, if you want to be in the school district, put school district down. It'll give you a lot more houses. Because some school districts, Sun Prairie school districts, are in the town of Burke. They're in Cottage Grove, Madison, and all that.
Yeah.
You
have to know your client's needs and wants.
Right.
And put in the appropriate data so they're getting the listings that make. And I've heard, I guess, some feedback that sometimes buyers feel like their agents didn't listen to them, either with price range or areas, like I'm getting listings for this and that, and it's not at all what I want.
Right.
Well, you need to just let them know that. But in the beginning, when you're setting up the search, this should be part of your consultation, right?
Right. Yeah.
So again, working with a professional that knows what to draw out of you, so you end up with the right listings that are going to be a good match, and you're going to be happy.
Right. Now, sometimes we set up searches that will pull in a house that's not for you. But it's giving you all new listings to say that'll come in. Say if you want a city of Sun Prairie, it'll show you every house in there. I mean, we can set it up as tight as we can, but sometimes you want to show all the houses because you may go, hey, yeah, I'm okay with 2 bathrooms instead of 3.
People do change their mind.
I like this house.
Yeah. But communicate that, right? Like you're going to get some stuff that isn't an exact match. It's okay, just scroll by them. But some people get caught up on that.
I had a buyer once in my life where I showed them a variety of houses in the Madison area, and they ended up spending $100,000 more than they originally budgeted to do, and they were happy as anything.
Yeah.
You know.
When we bought our first house, our price range increased. We bought in the seller's market.
Wow.
And we had to.
Wow.
It was just starting out, like you're going to buy a car.
Right.
And you're like, I don't want to spend more than X amount per month. Kind of similar to that. So sometimes people have like these payments in mind, which I get. You pay the payment every month. But sometimes you can stretch that a little bit, or maybe there's other things you can do in your budget.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just have to come to a realization, I cannot buy the house that I want at this range. So I have to make adjustments.
Yeah, you're right. Hey, so I want to talk a little bit about this, more about real estate agents and you and what it's about and all that stuff. And I want you to think about this. So I boiled it, I broke it down to about 5 reasons why real estate agents fail. The first one is that in order to start first of all, most people see it as a job and not as a business. And I'm going to tell you right now, you are considered a 1099, which is a non-employee, and you're going to have to be responsible for your own taxes and everything like that.
Self-employed.
You're self-employed. So the Baker Realty Group is a licensed brokerage. I'm a licensed broker. I have my company under an umbrella with eXp Realty. That's a whole different show. And so if you came in like John Doe goes to work for Stark Realty, now you may work directly for Stark on that or you may not. But what you need to think about, doesn't matter where you go, this is your business because you're the product, not the brokerage. And if a broker tries to tell you that, they're wrong, and don't work there. You're the product. You're the mechanism. You're the Aaron Rodgers that gets $240 million a year to throw touchdowns.
And everything is negotiable.
And everything is negotiable.
Yeah.
So when you start this, start it as a mindset of being a business. You need to be well funded, or be married to a rich woman or girl or man.
Whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Whatever. Furry.
Have
Whatever.
a sugar somebody.
Yeah. Because you're going to need a reserve, because you need to go full time. And if somebody tries to convince me to go part time, okay, you can do that. Just like going to Culver's and they're only open half the day. You get a bigger return if you focus all of your attention on what your expertise is. Your expertise now is real estate. So be funded, be well funded. I'd say 6 months. At least be able to cover your bills for 6 months.
Doesn't Susie Orman say 9 months?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm not Susie. And I live in Wisconsin. And I can live on Butterburgers. Or go back to college days and just live on ramen noodles. Right.
Or mac and cheese. Yeah.
You need a business plan. You need a plan of action. How are you going to sell homes? What's it about? How are you going to do it? Now, so when I started, when I analyzed the market, being a business person, I came in, I just sold Baker Healthcare and all that. And so I worked with luxury, residential income, and commercial buyers and sellers. Why? Because that's the same person. That one person covers 3 categories. I also didn't sell any houses lower than $300,000 because I never had back then, and because there are no issues back then at $300,000 or higher. This is just from doing my marketing, doing my research before I did this. You need to set. Here's the thing that people are afraid of, and if the word cold call makes a chill run down your back or makes the hair stand up on your arms,
not the business
this is probably not the business for you. Mm-hmm. Or any sales business, because lead generation is the lifeblood of a real estate company or any sales organization. You have to go find the business. Now, where do you start? I always say your Christmas list. Who's on your Christmas list? How big is that list? Mm-hmm. Now, why do I call it a Christmas list? Because there are people in your life that you're comfortable with, that you can have a conversation with, and they'll probably give you a truthful answer.
They're warm.
They're
not cold.
Correct. They're a warm lead.
Yeah.
So those people, if I have 100 of those.
Well, we hope they're not cold.
No, I know. Well, they could be. They could be underground. But so if you have 100 of those people on your Christmas card list, that should generate, from what industry's told us, and it's true, statistically, should give you 10 sales. 10 sales a year. Now you got to keep in mind that with all realtors that are out there, like 1.5 million realtors, something like that the average is 4 transactions a year.
1 a quarter.
Yeah, and they don't stick around. They're gone after 5 years on this. So that lead generation is important. So you have the people you know, warm leads. Then you've got to figure out how you're going to generate other leads. Is it by what they call farming, by looking at a geographic area and working that area? Or is it a type of farm, a real farm, agricultural farm? Is it luxury home? Is it golf course properties? Is it rural houses? Is it city houses? Is it condos, lake homes? Is it geriatric, senior housing? Mm-hmm. Senior housing. Those are the type of lead gens that you want. There's also leads coming off the internet. Zillow, Realtor.com, Redfin. There's a gazillion of them. Mm-hmm. And you're going to be inundated with these. We call it buying leads. I'm guilty of doing this. I said I would never, ever, ever do it.
Because Gary Keller used to say, do not do that.
Do not buy leads.
Your sphere, work your sphere, your
right.
people, your warm leads.
Never did I ever think I would do it. And what happened was a friend of mine, Nicole Charles, was involved with an organization called Boomtown. And this is about 10 years ago. And Boomtown would just flooded her market with all these buyers. And it was like, oh my gosh, I have all these listings. I need buyers. So I got into it, and it was probably the biggest mistake I made. Because it's not easy.
It's not easy to manage it, and
No.
it's also very expensive.
It is. And in my Michigan operation, we were spending $20,000 a month.
Wow.
We have agents in our area that are spending $1 million a year buying leads just to make $1 million. And of that million, they got to give part of it to the government, part of it to all their reps, and they're probably working harder than not buying those leads at all.
Well, and you're probably paying for admin staff, for marketing, for accountant to manage your business. I mean, if you're smart, that's one of the first things you do is connect with a good accountant.
Right.
Because you're self-employed,
Sure.
like you said. Yeah, it's interesting how much agents will spend on leads. And a lot of them that come in are just, what did Keller Williams call them? Looky-loos? Just, I don't know. I'm kind of considering it. I'm not serious. Maybe not qualified, so, I don't know. Is it worth it?
Well, I'll say no, but I'm going to tell you a story real quick. Wade Dislin was one of my agents, a fantastic buyer agent. His dad, Dan, schooled him well.
Yes.
And
he had a good teacher.
He had a lead that he was following. And so what happens is a lead comes in, they go, not now, not now, not now. You keep staying in touch with them. You call them, text them, email them, phone them. You just keep repeating it. So you stay in touch with them. Give them something of value. You're always reaching out to them. You want to make sure that you are the first person they think of. He had a lead from a guy, and he wouldn't talk to him. He would just hang up on him. And finally, the lead came to the point where he put it in the trash. So in the CRM, on a contact management program, you can put it in the trash.
Like a dead lead.
Like a dead lead.
Anywhere.
Guy's not responding, nothing's happening, it's a dead lead. All of a sudden one day, it pops out of the trash. Long story short, $1.4 million in cash.
Persistence. Perseverance.
Perseverance. And that is $42,000 in commission.
Woo!
Just because he stayed on top of it, just because he did his job, bam, there it is. So lead generation is the most important thing. The other thing you've got to do is you have to figure out a way to stay in contact with all your clients. You have to have a contact management program that supplements your contact with your people.
It just stays in touch because it is all about being top of mind.
Yeah, but it doesn't replace personal contacts and phone calls.
True, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
Yeah, and people do just shoot off a text or whatever, email. Yeah, and a lot of times people are just like, especially email, goes to trash. It's ignored. We get a lot of emails.
So most people don't follow up, especially after they sell them a home.
Right.
They've sold them a home. You've spent, 3 months with them or whatever. You helped them in the process. You just helped them buy a home. And now you're just abandoned them.
There's so many opportunities to stay in touch and offer value, offer education.
Yeah.
People are curious about what is going on with the market.
Right.
What is my house worth right now?
Right.
What could I sell? I need to sell.
Sure.
What would it be worth right now? What do you think about my taxes? My tax assessment went way up. Does that seem right to you? Like, there's all kinds of ways that you can be a good resource.
Man, you got to go on vacation more often. You're just like, wow, wow, this is good stuff. Hey, did you?
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I mean, it's good stuff.
Bada bing.
Bada bing.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Bada bing,
There is a song, and I love it. Anyway.
Bada bing is for Sopranos fans. We know what the bada bing is.
Yeah, okay.
I'm getting there.
What were you going to say?
Did you know that 90% of those people that used an agent would use that same agent again?
90%?
90%.
Even though they don't follow up?
But only 30% actually did.
Because they didn't follow up. It's top of mind.
Somebody else stole them.
But maybe because the agent,
Didn't
lender,
follow up.
same thing happens
Same
in
with
my
lenders.
world.
This is a
Didn't
lender
stay in
thing
touch.
too.
Heck yeah.
Absolutely.
When I left the credit union that I was at for 10 years, that was a really harsh realization for me.
Yeah.
I remember thinking, I have 10 years of relationships that I've built good, solid, and I've helped these people buy and refinance many times. They trust me. They will follow me. And I had people say to me, I do trust you, but I do all my banking here. And this is what's comfy for me. You know, it's just human nature. It is what it is. So I would argue that one of the biggest things is mindset. If you don't have a strong mindset, a positive mindset, the kind that perseveres through a bunch of no's,
Yep.
I don't know that you're going to make it.
I agree.
Because this is not an easy business.
Yeah.
Any sales, period,
Yeah.
is just not an easy business.
No.
You need to come from contribution.
Yeah, absolutely.
You need to want to help people.
Absolutely.
Educate them.
Always.
Be an excellent resource for
Yep.
them, and not just transactionally,
Right.
but like a client for life.
Right.
If you can find somebody like that and you can be that kind of a person,
Sure.
I think you'll do well.
And the last thing is marketing.
Yeah.
It's not about you. You need to put your name out there, but you need to be the educator.
Yes.
You need to set your marketing up, either your website, your emails, your radio shows. Why do you think we do this radio show, and we have for 7 years?
Education.
Education and information. We're coming from contribution.
Yep.
We're giving to you, hoping that you're going to come to us. Honest engine. There you go.
Stingy.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just showed my age, and that was might have been politically
You did.
incorrect, you know.
Then again, I had a quote from Dragnet. Not that I watched Dragnet, but
I know
anyway, the
you
fact
did.
that I know that shows my age, doesn't it?
I know you did. Hey, Sun Prairie, I hope that was a lot of good information for you today. Just know if you're looking to buy a house, there are options. And call me if you're difficult. Reach out to me. I will help you. And so will Laura. We've got to get you pre-approved. We've got to get you into the loan process and just waiting for that appraisal. And we'll get it taken care of.
And there are options, by the way, to keep your rate low and your payment low and maybe expand your price range.
Right.
You need to work with someone that gets that.
Yeah, we do. And they don't just make up the rates. It's sitting there.
That's another show.
Yeah, we'll do that next week.
Yeah.
Next week, we're going to have Valerie Rink going to be on the show.
Sweet.
Because we're doing fair housing. And then after that, the following Wednesday, will be our own Senator, Melissa Agard, to come in and talk about what she sees that's going on in housing, affordable housing, and the options that we can have. So looking forward to it. Sun Prairie, have a great week, and catch you back here on Monday morning. Bye, Sun Prairie.
In stereo.
Studio 2, please.
Gone.
Merci.
Merci beaucoup.
Ooh, he speaks French. That went really fast.
I did. There's a lot of stuff. Hang on. Let me get off Facebook. Bye, Facebook. Love you guys.
Bye, Facebook.
You are the best. You know that. Forget the rest.